Welcome to another show of our trio. And today on our trio, first, we talking about Wendell Scott. Second, we talking about Simone. Third, we talking about the kingdom of Kush. Our trio, let's go.
Do it, 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 do it.
Wendell Scott was the first black NASCAR driver. He's the first African-American driver to win a race in the Grand National Series, NASCAR highest level. He learned how to be a mechanic from his father and opened his own shop after serving in the Army during World War II. He started racing on the Dixie circuit because black drivers were not allowed in NASCAR at the time. He spent 9 years on the regional level before moving up to the Grand National Division. In 1961, he won the Jacksonville 200 and became the first black driver to win a race in NASCAR top division. But at the time, they didn't want a black driver to win this race. So instead of declaring him the winner, they wouldn't wave the white checker flag until he got out of first place. Later on, they gave him his money after the crowd left and declared him the winner when no one wasn't around. And that's just some of the racism he had to deal with of being a black NASCAR driver back in the day. Scott competed in 495 Grand National races with 149 top 10 finishes. He retired in 1973. Sadly, he wasn't around when they inducted him into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. In 2015, he died of cancer in 1990. Now keep in mind, this man didn't have no sponsorships. In NASCAR, when someone sponsor you, that means they put their name on your car for advertisement, and in return they give you money. And with that money, you use that to keep the maintenance up on your car, to pay for your pit crew, to keep everything flowing. But he didn't have no mechanic. He had to be his own mechanic. He didn't have no pit crew. He had to be his own pit crew. And with none of that and no sponsors, keep in mind that this man was still placing. This man was still competitive. This man was receiving death threats, but he didn't let that stop him. So just imagine he had the top of the top equipment. This man would have been the greatest NASCAR driver of all time. Mr. Scott had a saying, when it's get too tough for everyone else, it's just right for me.
The car got hurt in at Talladega. This is a picture of the car. That was the best car I ever drove, but I didn't really get a chance to do my best with it because it was on the 8th or 9th lap when they had this real bad wreck and I was right in the middle of them. Tore the car to pieces.
The competitive fires still burn brightly in his steely eyes. He'll race every now and then on the local tracks in the hills of Virginia. His son's timing his every practice lap, watching how the old man dives into the corners, fiercely proud of the man they call Daddy. To watch Wendell walk among his old race cars is to watch a man admire his treasures. His garage is his real scrapbook, every car, every loose part with a memory solidly attached. Every one of these old racers with a history all its own, for they once glided around racetracks under the silky touch of the man who beat the odds every time the green flag fell. But it's back at the racetrack where you realize that he is at home, in his element, and he is accorded the respect and admiration that a man of his stature and dignity requires, the status befitting a true champion.
Thank you very much, sir.
Simone, Dr. Simone, doctor of humanitarians, doctor of music, singer, songwriter, musician. But what I like her most for is she was an activist. To make a living, she started playing the piano at nightclubs in Atlantic City. Simone tried to distinguish herself from her family members. That's when she came up with the stage name Simone. Eunice Kathleen Wabin was her real name. She went on to record more than 40 albums between 1958 and 1974, making her debut with Little Blue Girl. Her music is known as a soundtrack of the Civil Rights Movement. She worked beside Martin Luther King. She worked beside Nelson Mandela. She wasn't scared to speak her mind. Very outspoken. Not only was she not scared to speak her mind, but she was all about respect. It was even one time a record label decided they didn't want to play Simone her money. And that was a mistake they later regret, because she followed one of the guys and pulled a gun out on him and shot. She missed him, but she said one of her biggest mistakes she made in life was missing him. So she didn't regret any of it. So this is a powerful woman that stood up for what she believed in and stood up for her culture.
I think what you're trying to ask is why am I so insistent upon giving out to them that blackness, that black power, that black pushing them to identify with black culture. I think that's what you're asking. I have no choice over it. In the first place, to me, we are the most beautiful creatures in the whole world, black people. I mean that in every sense, outside and inside. And to me, we have a culture that is surpassed by no other civilization, but we don't know anything about it. So again, I think I've said this before in this same interview, I think at some time before, my job is to somehow make them curious enough or persuade them by hook or crook to get more aware of themselves and where they came from and what they are into and what is already there, and just to bring it out. This is what compels me to compel them, and I will do it by whatever means necessary.
Next.
The kingdom of Kush was an ancient kingdom in Nubia, located to the south of Egypt, next to the Nile River. This region was known to Egyptians as the land of the bow, because they were using bow and arrows when a lot of other people wasn't. The Egyptians also had other names for it, the land of the black people. And the Greeks and Romans call it the land of the burnt-faced people. Leave it up to Europeans. The city of Kerma was established in Kush by c. 200,000 and 400 BC. And the kingdom of Kush in Egypt was trade partners. Like I said, that's how they got all their gold. That's how they got their exotic animals. That's how they got all their luxury items. And the kingdom of Kush had queens who ran it. That is almost unheard of women's running everything. But they had it there. They even had Nubian pyramids. A lot of people only think that Egypt had pyramids, but the kingdom of Kush had pyramids as well. And the kingdom of Kush was real rich off of their mineral resources. They made steel back in the day. They had gold. They had what the world needed. Ask yourself, why the kingdom of Kush never get talked about? That's because they can't whitewash the kingdom of Kush, the land of the black people. With that name, you know, you cannot say that they was white like you can with Egypt. Subscribe. Click that notification bell to keep up with me when I post 3 different topics coming at you 3 times a week. If you want the latest R Trio shirt, hit me up.